Jersey here. In this question we're given a formula for the area of a trapezium and we're asked to make x the subject of the formula. As it is, A is the subject of the formula. So we're basically trying to end up with x equals some formula or other. So first thing we'll do is we'll look to see where x is, and well, there it is, tucked away in the middle of this expression. It's tucked up in brackets. It's got a half h multiplying the brackets. So we have to extricate this from all the rubbish that's round about it. And we're in an equation situation, so anything we do on one side of the equation, we must balance it by doing the same on the other side. So what action will we take? Well, one of the easiest ones is to get rid of this half. Multiplying by a half, if we do the opposite of that, we double. Dividing by 2, the opposite's multiplying by 2. So on the right hand side, let's double that. And to balance, on the left hand side, we must do the same. So hopefully that'll get rid of that half. So left hand side twice a, 2 times a, double the half gets 1, 1 times h times x plus y. There we go. So that's got rid of the half. Now there are two ways we can proceed. The first way is to get rid of these brackets. So each term inside the bracket gets multiplied by the h times x plus h times y. Now, since our aim is to try and get x on its own, let's get rid of this add hy by doing the opposite, which is taking away hy. So that's the action I'll take on the right hand side of the equation, and to balance it I'll do the same action on the left hand side of the equation. So I get 2a minus hy on the left and h times x on the right. So finally, this multiplying by h we have to get rid of to get x on its own, and the opposite of multiplying by h is dividing by h. And if I do that action on the right of the equation, I must balance it by doing the same action on the left of the equation. And note this time that the whole of the left hand of the equation must get divided by h. So 2a minus hy, the whole of that divided by h, and that'll give me x on its own. Now usually when we write equations like this or formula like this, the subject of the formula, we write first a equals. We don't have a half h times x plus y equals a, so we write it the other way around. So in other words, x is equal to 2 lots of a minus h times y, the whole of that divided by h. And there's a perfectly valid answer that will gain the marks for this question. Now there is another way of doing this, working from 2a equals h times x plus y. You may want to get rid of this times h at the front of the bracket first by taking an action divide by h and doing that on both sides of the equation. So on the left hand side we now have 2a, that divided by h. On the right hand side, divide by h gets rid of this h and we get x plus y. Another way of thinking about that is cancelling by h. Last step here, we'll get rid of this y. Action we take on the right hand side, take away y. Balance it by doing the same action on the left hand side. So 2a over h minus y will give us x. Write it the correct way round, and there we have another perfectly valid answer to the question. In both of these cases x is the subject. Now they may well look different. They're not. Let's look at an example. Let's take this this example here, 2a minus hy over h, is similar to 8 minus 2 over 2, for instance. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2, that gives us an answer of 3. If you imagine that we divide each number by 2, 4 minus 1, that still gives us 3. So the reason that the two answers that we've got are the same, we can change this first form by splitting that difference in the top, dividing each term by h, just like we split this difference, 8 minus 2 divided by 2, we split each term of the difference and divided separately by the 2. We're dividing each of these terms separately by the h, and we end up with 2a over h minus hy over h, where we can cancel that h, divide top and bottom of the fraction by h, and we end up with 2a over h minus y as previously. So these two answers are equivalent. So that's that. That is x as the subject of the formula. Both answers full marks. That's Mr. Corsi signing out. Hope you enjoyed the video.